Um, we know that Carson Wentz got hurt. Did you see what he had to go through? I think the Vikings should be in trouble with the league.
I
There's no
mean,
way they should have been allowed to let that man
it's
play.
pretty common for like if you get an injury that like doctors say you can't make worse, like you have the choice of playing through it or getting surgery. And we all know Carson Wentz is like, I mean, we might not all know Carson Wentz's attitude, but I feel like he's a competitor just like most guys in the NFL. I
Yeah,
mean,
he'll play through whatever they'll
I
let him, but
read Kevin O'Connell's response to the media or like statement after that information came out. Obviously, they weren't going to say anything if nobody figured it out.
right.
But um, I mean, what's the alternative? I know Carson Wentz is not playing great, but what's Minnesota's alternative?
I
And
mean,
if
they
he wanted
had
to play that badly, and the doctor said he couldn't injure it any worse, like I don't know, dude.
if they didn't want to go to JJ McCarthy just yet last week, like they still had another quarterback on the bench ready to go.
Right? Who?
It was a rookie. I forget his name off the top of my head. Uh, where's the Vikings at?
It's
And
gonna be worse than what you get with Wentz.
I mean, Max Brosmer is his name, rookie quarterback out of Minnesota University. He's played. He's good enough to be in the league. I mean, is it going to be worse than what you got from Wentz, who had a dislocated elbow and a torn labrum? And while they absolutely got smacked up, like I don't think it could have gotten much worse than what was already out on the field.
I don't know. I mean, I don't. This information didn't come out because Carson Wentz was complaining. I don't think so.
No, no, he wasn't, but the pain that he looked like he was in during that game, criminal.
Well, and I mean, allowing him to play is one thing versus seeing the type of pain he's in every play. I I probably would lean just as a spectator that the coach should have pulled him in that game, but I mean,
Absolutely.
we don't know what Carson Wentz is saying to Kevin O'Connell and that
Give me
kind
a
of stuff.
turtle.
I mean,
Chew me up, coach. I'm ready to go. Now, I obviously nothing will happen. Nothing could happen. It's up to the player as long as he's cleared. But that was pretty wild to see out there. Don't want to see that again.
I didn't
It was
even
also
see any
bad
clips
ball.
from it, so I don't.
Literally every play he was getting sacked every single play. The offensive line could not keep him up, and every single
Yeah, I've
play he's
heard
just
people
coming
speak
up,
about it and kind of say the
just
same thing, but
grasping and being in pain literally every single play.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
if I'm a coach in that situation, I'm probably calling the next man up. I'm not gonna, regardless of what he's
Absolutely.
telling me. Like Pat wants to get back on the field, and I can see him limping. I'm like, buddy, sit on the sidelines for a little bit.
Let's yeah. Speaking of criminal, uh, this guy's an absolute criminal. Kirk Cousins
Oh,
is a thief. A
not what I
thief.
thought you were jumping to.
Not yet. We've got one more after this, but Kirk Cousins, a thief. Buddy's making $27.5 million this year. I think career total earnings are somewhere around the $324 million mark. He's only
Something
ever
like
won
that.
one playoff game. And I don't know what I watched last week with the Falcons. And this is definitely, we're not recapping what happened through any of the games really, but like, how does he get away with that? How do you keep letting him get away with that? I get it.
I
He
mean,
played pretty well
we
in
can't we
Minnesota,
in this
but
situation you can't blame Kirk Cousins, okay? The Falcons are the one that decided to pay him that much money after an injury. An Achilles injury of all things as well. This like
an
not
Achilles
an
doesn't
ACL.
affect your
This is
arm.
like
I didn't know that was located in your shoulder.
your feet control your throws. You listen to any good quarterback coach or quarterbacks of the past, like your feet and your base are gonna. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is kind of the outlier there because he can zing it while being midair. But for a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, your feet are gonna tell you where how you're throwing the ball. And compromised with a healing Achilles, there's no chance that they were sane giving him that contract.
No, is insane to give him the what do you get, $180 million.
180.
I don't know how much guaranteed, probably 140 or 120 guaranteed. Absolutely ridiculous. It's criminal. That man is a thief. Yes, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna blame the Falcons because they're wrong for giving it to him. He's wrong for stealing it.
I'd take the money.
I would too. Absolutely. It's a lot of money. I ain't gonna say no to
I
it,
know
but
his wife's happy getting to pick his sideline outfits.
she happy living in Atlanta?
I don't care. She is with that amount of money.
Fair. Atlanta's not too bad. Traffic's horrible.
Oh, I wouldn't imagine any of the players actually live in the city.
I mean, crazy thing about Atlanta is I don't know if you really have an option to, I mean, what, you're going to go out and live in Marietta, which Marietta is beautiful. It is a great place to be. To get from Marietta, which is like, I don't know, 20 miles, 30 miles from downtown Atlanta, that's a 2 hour drive with how bad that traffic is.
I just know I've driven through Atlanta, driving to and
Traffic's
from
horrible.
Florida, and I would not subject myself. I mean, most of the big cities, I would not subject myself to the traffic. But Atlanta's not necessarily a walkable city. I mean, if you're just going to like a certain part, sure, but you kind of need a car to get around most of Atlanta, and not a chance I would subject myself to that kind of traffic.
No, it's bad. The highway system is bad. We're not we're turning it into a geography podcast real quick. But it's bad. It's bad down there. I
It's
would
bad.
would not do it. That is detrimental to anything you want to do around Atlanta.
Detrimental to your mental health.
Well,
Just
losing
like
this player is considered conduct detrimental to the
actually
league.
no,
Absolutely.
I think it saved football as a whole. Not
Stop,
having to
man.
watch Cam Skattebo the
Cam,
rest of the
the
season.
scat man is fun. You are the hater of fun.
Brother, I don't any football player. If I see him do this going into contact, if you can see the crown of the helmet when he's going into contact, I mean that's not it's not football. You're a battering ram.
Well, neither is the tush push. It's not football, but hey,
I
they're
don't
still
like the
out
tush
there.
push either.
That's
I think the rules on that are skewed for the offense, but
Scatman's fun, dude. Why do you hate fun? You keep talking about his
off the field,
play.
yes, he's fun. I love the personality, but like you can't tell me that being a battering ram, looking down straight down at the ground every time you go into contact is good for football.
I don't think it's good for him nor whoever is attempting to tackle him. I definitely don't or who he is blocking. Like I don't think it's good. Definitely, I think the league should definitely have. Well, oh wait, they do have rules around that. It's just not for offensive players. I get that. I think that's an easily correctable problem. You could chalk that up to the coaching for the New York Giants. That somebody needs to say
I'm almost
something.
upset he got hurt in a way that wasn't like head related. Like
That's the other thing about it is like it had nothing to do with his head. It
I
had
know.
something to do with, oh, let's not forget that there's a rule about this, no hip drop tackles. And what happens? A hip drop tackle when he doesn't even have the ball.
That one, I mean, for me, like I understand I guess the essence of the rule, like what its purpose is for. But when you're like, there's so many different situations you find yourself in football, and like running up behind, like trying to catch someone who's running away from you, and diving and grabbing the hips, like sometimes that's the only way you're going to be able to bring somebody down. Like
Yes. So in it, yes, grabbing their hips and pulling them down can be done. That is if you're trying to chase someone. The issue is when you grab them around the hips and then swing your body out underneath them and then pull them down where you're also landing on top of their ankles.
again,
That's
like
where the issue is.
full speed, trying to control every little part of your body, like making sure I'm not dropping my hips on somebody's legs when I'm trying to tackle them. Like that's a lot for a defender to have to like calculate. And to a certain degree, it's unfair. And the rhetoric around the league since um, Tuck rule is like we're making things easier for quarterbacks and offensive players and I admire, I guess, the push for player safety, but I mean these rules got to make sense for players that are playing full speed and trying to like make sure you're not falling on top of somebody or where your hips land when you're tackling them. Like I just think we're making it very difficult to play defense in this league.
You're not wrong, but that's also where the viewership comes from. The viewers want more points scored, so they are going to make things and there's protection on certain positions more than there are other positions. Um, there does have to be. I mean, we've seen a lot of seasons and careers ended by people who have taken on a hip drop tackle. You could say roughing the passer is a little too lenient on quarterbacks and is too difficult for some defenders. 2 steps, some would say, is not enough to be able to pull up and not hit a quarterback. Some quarterbacks you have, a lot of people are saying there's flops that happen.
Pat,
There's some are saying a lot of people are talking about Pat. Nobody's looking at Josh Allen or some of the other quarterbacks that are flopping to get those calls. Um, but like, yeah, I mean, defense is
let
very difficult to play.
let me backtrack to Scattaboo real quick. And I want to say this on air so that like maybe 100 people see it. Um, Cam Skattebo is going to be indirectly responsible for serious injuries and maybe even death to young football players. Anybody that's trying to imitate that man and what he does on the football field is going to get themselves hurt.
I
I'm,
agree.
hopefully the player that hip dropped him gets a little bit of a penalty, fine, whatever we want to do. But Scattaboo in the limelight is bad for kids in football.
If he continues to play the way that he is with his head down often, I would agree.
You
I
think
think that'll
you
get
think he's going to
corrected.
change?
I think it can get corrected. I think the league, it can be corrected. The question is will it be corrected? Maybe it comes after he takes a head or neck injury. I would hope it wouldn't take there. I would hope that the coaching staff is attempting to protect their player. I would also hope that the league would try to intervene because this is something that they're saying you cannot do on the defensive side of the ball. So it is something that should not be done on the offensive side of the ball. Now we
Can't
know
you
that
get hit for something like I mean, can't you get hit for you can get hit for like a for I don't know the right term, but like spearing somebody on offense. Like you like I think I see it more in college football, but man was the Damar Hamlin incident, like wasn't that a product of someone leading with their head and they got some sort of
it
action
was
still?
it was Damar that did that.
He led with his head. I
Mm.
thought the never mind. Could be I guess I'm just remembering that wrong, but
But like we
I could have swore
why
there's something against like if the offensive person initiates like a helmet to helmet contact.
there have been a few penalties thrown, and it has been quite a few years since it has
I
happened.
was gonna say, yeah,
It
it's
has been a while, which is why we're going back to well, the offense should be regulated the same exact way. When the targeting penalty was first introduced into college and the NFL, they allowed for the offense to be called for it as well. Now the offense has no longer been called for it, especially since the NFL redacted the use of the targeting penalty for professional football. It's still widely used in college football. It's a reviewable thing, has been for the last couple of years. And it's been made better, but the NFL refuses to go back to
And I mean,
allowing targeting to be called.
that brings me back to the tush push. Like if we could just have some fair rules and enforcement on both sides of the ball. If the defense can't push their lineman through the offensive line, then you shouldn't be able to push your player through the offensive line on the other side. Um, so I mean, spirit of the game, yeah, we should have both sides, offense and defense, held to the same standards.
Absolutely. It's something that we'll talk about or have talked about. We'll probably continue talking about. I know many others are talking about it. There needs to be some equality in the way that we're reffing and calling and ruling the game, both offensively and defensively. And that unfortunately is not the case. I don't know what it will take to get there.
You you go past that though. Do we really trust the refs that we're employing to to be able to differentiate? Because
You mean
across the league, every week, there's like, and it's usually not a Chiefs game. Like it was, um, I mean, we lost the Jaguars game, but there was no calls not called against us. But lately, the last couple of weeks, the worst officiated game is not a Chiefs game. The Eagles are
yes?
are uh, have had a couple of games, the Broncos game and something else that
Yeah, they've
calls
had a
weren't
they've had a
calls weren't
few.
called against the opposing team, and the Eagles lost the game. And then um, back to the tush push against the Giants, like a clear like strip, and they gave him like forward
They
progress
gave him
stopped.
forward progress. They said
Like
his
I don't,
forward momentum stopped. I don't get it.
commentators have said this, and uh, I like the national spotlight. Like they aren't hiding it. The commentators are like, you could call forward progress stopped at least like 5 times during a tush push. Like
Absolutely.
how long do we let that go and allow the offense to keep pushing him forward where his forward
I
progress isn't stopped, but then a moment where it helps the defense or the defense benefits from a fumble and he's still trying to work his way forward, but then now your forward progress is stopped. Like it's so the refs are really disheartening this season. It's
I
getting
think the
worse.
NFL will step in to ban it this year. I don't, and I'm not even saying that from a team standpoint where the owners go in and vote on new rules. I literally think the NFL will step in this offseason. Nothing will happen during the season like it should. Nothing will happen, unfortunately. But this offseason, I think the league will step in and say, it's too difficult to officiate because it is. There's so many bodies so close to it. It is. We're able to say, hey, this person jumped offside because the camera angle that we're given, but referees do not have the same angle. It is incredibly difficult to officiate that play on offense or defense, no matter what. I truly think the NFL will step in and ban the tush push going into the 2026-2027 season.
I mean, I guess getting rid of it would solve all the problems.
Because otherwise you have to use like live footage refereeing from cameras, or you have to go to automated refereeing, which is going to be an issue in itself. People are already claiming, go back to the Chiefs game last week where they did the automated measurement with the chip in the ball against the commies, and they said the commies were 5 inches short. Nobody complained about it when it was the Bills in week one. Nobody has complained. They've only used it like 3 times this year. The two previous times, nobody ever complained about it. But as soon as it benefited the Chiefs, everybody was like, "Oh, the game is rigged." Like, okay,
I will say there were even
which
some
side of
Chiefs
the
fans
aisle are you going
complaining
to fall
about
on?
that in the stadium. Like it's as a spectator live at the game, There's like they don't put anything up on the big screens. It's just like here's the result. And I mean, even Chiefs fans are questioning that. Like we don't get to see it. We don't get to.
Nothing.
Yeah, they're in the booth and they're like,
Turn,
yeah, this is
turns
it.
out, I thought because they have the chip in the ball and they can use video review, that they would video review and say the ball is being considered down at this point. Like, this is where we're stopping it. Where is the ball or the chip in the ball at this point in time? Turns out that's not what's happening. I don't know if you know this. It's not what's happening. That's the way it was explained to the public. That's the way that I read about it. They they spot the ball and then they just use the chip in the ball to determine
How
where
far
it
away it
is.
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
they don't actually use video review and down and do all the things that they said that it was going to be utilized for. They just take where the referee is spotting it. So it's still a manual review. Why are we just not like it would take less time to pull the chains out at that point if that's the exact way that we're doing it, just saying this is where it's spotted. Just pull the damn chain out. It doesn't take as long. But if we're actually going to do it correctly, we need to go back into the video review. Okay, it's down here. We know where the ball and the chip was at this exact point. That's where it is. That is incredibly. That blew my mind that is the way that they're doing it, and that is a horrible way to do it.
Where'd you find that information?
They were talking about it on a couple different radio stations and a couple different podcasts that I was listening to this week so far post the game, and they like brought in a rules analyst, and that's I was like that. I did not realize that was the way they were marking it and doing the automated review. That's such a bad way to do it.
Another gripe that I'll be referencing the Monday night game about. Like live spectating a primetime game is pretty boring because there are so many stops in play,
All the TV
all the
timeouts.
TV timeouts. Like there was a clear difference from the noon game that I went to. Um, what was the Sunday night game? That wasn't the what was that the Ravens game? Or no?
Ravens was not a Sunday night game.
Well, either way, there
Ravens
was just
was a
like
Sunday night game. Yeah.
there was a clear difference between games that I've seen in different hours versus that Monday night game. There were 2 minute TV timeouts all over the place, and
Lions.
oh, the Lions game. That's right. And I don't know if I noticed it as much in the Lions game, but that Monday night game, they were like the Commanders were lining up for a field goal, and like everybody was set, and they were still like play resumes in a minute 30. The refs had to tell them to like chill out. Like, I mean, if I were playing in a game that had that many stoppages, I would I'd be cold by the second
Thursday and
quarter.
Monday
Like,
Thursday and Monday night games, the absolute worst in how many TV timeouts there are.
I mean, players are ready to play, and they're standing around looking at everything, waiting on play to resume. And I mean, it was really like just slow and sluggish to watch.
Well, it may be a slow and sluggish week for some of these games. We'll definitely get to a few of them here, but we have some players that you need to be on the watch for your fantasy football week number 9 that's coming up. I've got
Well,
some
go ahead and
starts
let
and
them
sits
know.
for you.
Go ahead and let them know that Sean and I gave you a passing grade for last week.
You and Sean did give me a passing grade for last week. As far as starters go, I only messed up on one. That was running back Kyle Monagai, the running back for the
Diddly
backup running
squat.
back for the Chicago Bears.
Very, very much like my Kenneth Gainwell pick from the week prior. A backup
Absolutely
running
love
back
that
that
for
did
me.
nothing.
I screwed up in two areas. Harold Fannin tight end for the Cleveland Browns. I had a great week, 18 and almost a half points. Jalen
You
Waddle,
were you were
wide
kind of shit out of
receiver.
luck on your sit tight end pick because it was tight end week or
It
tight
was
end
tight
day.
end week. Yeah,
So
we should have skipped tight ends for tight end day.
or sit them.
Should have skipped out on that one. I'll do better next time. Jalen Waddle also had a great week. Who would have expected that out of the Dolphins? I don't know. But I hit on Dak Prescott, told you he'd have a bad week, 6.6 points. Christian McCaffrey had 3.6 points up until like the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. He exploded there, got 9.8 total. AJ Brown called it on a Wednesday. You would have heard it on whenever that came out, I believe on a Thursday. He was expected to play, did not, got you 0 points. If you paid attention, you would have had him benched prior to. You're welcome.
Well,
So we'll get to week.
that's why it doesn't count for you is because you're going to get notified that he's not playing before the game.
But if you had benched him on
Doesn't
Thursday
matter.
instead of
Doesn't
Sunday,
matter.
I got
It's
your back.
zero difference.
Well, I made sure to not get anybody who was on any injury designated list this week, asshole. Okay,
Smart.
so we're gonna go with our stardoms here. Stardoms. You've got Sam Darnold. The Seahawks will be playing against the Commanders. Commanders, notably bad defense. Sam Darnold's been playing pretty well this season so far. I expect that to continue. At running back, I'm telling you to start Travis Etienne. He's had a couple of bad weeks. They're also coming off of a bye week. His first 3 or 4 games of the season, double digits. And then he had single digits the following few weeks. He's going to get right against the Raiders this week. Watch out for a new wide receiver hitting my list, and a guy who is, it's about time we had a week for him. It's a different wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. It is DJ Moore. It's not Rome Odunze. It's DJ Moore week. He's going to have a great week going against that putrid Bengals defense. Next up at wide receiver, I'm also going to be telling you a guy who's had a couple really poor weeks. Last week wasn't really his fault. They just played against a bad Titans team. It's the Chargers wide receiver, Quentin Johnston, who's had a breakout first 4 weeks this year. He had averaged 70 yards per game with 4 touchdowns in 4 games. He's kind of fallen off the horse there a little bit. Last week, he only had 38 out of 72 snaps. But again, they were up big time against the Titans. He'll have a get right week against who do the Chargers play this week? Sorry, it wasn't the Titans last week. The Chargers played. Now I'm getting my week confused. They have the Titans this week. They had the Chargers last week, or the Vikings last week on a short week, Thursday night football. This week they have the Titans. Expect him to get his catches in early, probably a score in there as well.
I think
Finally,
you might be leading listeners astray. That offense or Lad McConkey has reestablished his dominance in that offense.
don't worry. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about him. Don't worry. I'm going to lead you right, just like I did last week, and that will finish us off with the starters at tight end here. Last one to look forward to. I'm going with another Seattle Seahawk here. It's rookie AJ Barner. He's had a pretty good season so far. He's had a couple bad weeks back to back, but they've had tremendous production on an offensive standpoint. So look for him to get back this week as well, going against the Commanders.
I
Realistically,
honestly
the only
think AJ.
options.
I think AJ Barner is like red zone touchdown or bust. I don't know if he's that involved in the offense when between the 20s.
He's had a couple weeks in there where he has been. It's maybe not in between the 20s, but realistically from the 50 on is where he gets involved a lot. And he has great yak ability. He's been able to catch and he's got some speed on him. He's been able to wiggle through and create some extra yardage for himself for that after the catch fact.
His bigger weeks have been like when he's targeted in the red zone.
Definitely
That's all I'm
touchdown
saying.
dependent. Yeah, I would agree. He's definitely touchdown dependent, but he is also heavily. He's been in those weeks heavily utilized as far as volume goes as well. So they've get into the red zone and then hit him as a big target. I think he's going to get a good solid week against the commies here. So they're going to live in the red zone. Commies suck.
I see more big touchdowns, long touchdowns, not to AJ Barner.
Hey, JSN's going to get his. You know he will. Here's the
I'm
guys
also
that you need
tired of
to.
Charbonnet stealing Kenneth Walker's points.
It's ridiculous.
I'm almost ready to start both of them in a lineup because like Walker will get you 80 yards and then Charbonnet
Charbonnet
stealing
will
all the
get you two
touchdowns.
touchdowns. Yeah, and that is conduct detrimental to my fantasy league for
For
sure.
real, dude. I was lucky. I mean, I don't know about lucky, but like I was in a position where I had to draft Kenneth Walker as a running back. So like later on in the draft, I was like, I have to take Charbonnet.
Gotta have that handcuff. Well, here's guys that you should be putting on your bench. I hope you're going to listen to me because we hit last week pretty well. We're going to hit this week big time. Quarterback, you need to sit Josh Allen. Josh
Whoa.
Allen. We'll cover this here later in depth on how that game will go. Josh Allen has played very well against the Kansas City Chiefs, but in the past, but at wide receiver they really don't have much. Keon Coleman
We need to
is
have a in-show bet about whether or not Josh Allen hurdles a Chiefs defender.
okay. All right. As far as weapons go for Josh Allen, Keon Coleman hasn't done anything. None of the tight ends have done much. Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, they really haven't been a piece of this offense this year outside of a game or two.
You're lying.
Really, it's Khalil Shakir or nothing when it comes to passing threats. Here's where it gets more interesting. When James Cook, running back for the Bills, has a good week, that's also when Josh Allen has a good week. If James Cook can't get going, Josh Allen will not have a good week. Don't expect James Cook to have a good week. I'm not telling you to sit him. He's not on my sit him list, but I would if I were you. We'll go to my sit him running back here. It's Woody Marks. He's now the number one running back for the Houston Texans. He's usurped Nick Chubb. Go ahead and bench him this week as they play against the Denver Broncos. Don't care that Patrick Surtain is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Texans suck. So then we'll go to a counterpart of that team, those teams we were just talking about in that matchup. Sit wide receiver Cortland Sutton for the Denver Broncos. While the offense for the Houston Texans is really bad, they are detrimental to the league for sure. Their defense is one of the best in the league. Bo Nix has had a wobbly season. He's had 2 really good weeks back to back. Don't expect Cortland Sutton to be a part of that reason why he could be good this week.
Well, Bo Nix is just using so many other targets too. Like as we don't necessarily look at the Broncos wide receiver room as being like uber talented and like super crowded, but Bo Nix has other targets in that offense that he likes to go to. And not that
Troy
he's an
Franklin has been his guy
afterthought.
lately.
And there's a rookie too, that was
Yes.
way more involved in the offense in the Cowboys game too. Um, so like not the most talented wide receiver room, but there's plenty of targets for Bo Nix to throw to that like and like I said, I don't think Cortland Sutton is an afterthought. I just feel like he's usually got the best matchup and Bo Nix is gonna go for an open guy.
If I could bench an entire wide receiver core, it would be the Denver Broncos this week. That Houston's defense is too good, and Bo has struggled a little bit too much against really good defenses. I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
The beginning of that Broncos game, I thought like after Bo Nix throws an interception, I thought I made that pick right, and then the rest of the game was just awful.
We'll get to our second wide receiver to bench here. It's a guy who came back after a significant injury after last season. He had a pretty good game for the Packers last week. It is Christian Watson. Do not. I mean, they've got a void to fill with. I believe it was Romeo Dobbs who
Jaden Reed.
broke or not Jaden Reed. There we go. Jaden Reed who broke his clavicle a couple of weeks ago. Christian Watson is much needed help. But he's not going to be involved much this week against the Panthers, who surprisingly, when Bryce Young plays, they've been playing pretty well this season. We'll get to the final one here. It's tight end. It's no longer tight end day, so go ahead and bench Zach Ertz. He's actually been pretty good this season. If you go back and look
Tight
at
end
what
number
he's
9.
done, he's up in the top 10 for tight ends. Do not expect for him to have a good week this upcoming week against the Seattle Seahawks, who surprisingly
You may
have
have
one of the better defenses.
lied a little bit when you were talking about Dalton Kincaid, but guys like Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid who have come off buys, they're still top 15. Both of them are top 15 in tight ends. I imagine a couple more weeks later, Ertz won't be in the top 10 anymore because both of those guys will get back there.
Uh, I mean, looking at it so far this year, Dalton Kincaid is 15th in tight ends,
And he's had a bye.
and he's missed a game.
Right.
And then he put up 3.3 points against the Carolina Panthers. So,
Yeah, but he's also had at least 3 or 4 games where he's eclipsed 15 as a tight end. So
hey, everybody,
bye week and missing
blind
a
squirrel gets
game,
it twice.
bye week and missing a game, and he's still the 15th ranked tight end. Like,
Tight ends are down this year.
whatever you say.
It's a tight end who's had a couple down years outside of the fantasy spectrum, just a couple down years in his career. Probably expect that to continue. It's our game to watch. The San Francisco 49ers are heading to MetLife Stadium, taking on the Giants, who are 2.5 point dogs at
Talking
home.
about Kittle.
Talking about Kittle, brother. George Kittle, he's not been available. The guy can't get healthy. He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. Doesn't have a quarterback, does have a quarterback, does who knows
I'm
what's
also
happening with the
tired
San
of hearing
Francisco
how
49ers.
how good he is at blocking makes him the best tight end in the league. Like, I, so what? It's a huge part of the game, right? You can run block, but that like to be the best tight end in the game, you got to do everything else really well. And the like you said, the biggest knock on him is he can't stay healthy. Like I'm not going to employ a tight end that's only going to play 5 games a season or whatever the hell
He's
it
only
looks
had a
like for
couple of
Kittle.
years where he's played full amount of games.
That's
Like
what I'm saying.
he's never available. And this is no shot at blocking tight ends. There's no shot at friend of the show, Jason Dunn. He's a glorified Jason Dunn. He's this era's Jason Dunn when he's healthy. Fantastic blocker. Can catch when needed. That's about all you're
He's
going to get
got
from
he's
George
got a
Kittle.
little more wiggle than Jason Dunn. Um,
Jason Dunn was also a better blocker by
One of the
far,
best.
by far a better blocker. As he said on this show, put him in a phone booth with anyone, no one's getting out of those meaty paws.
Yeah.
You were somewhat excited about this game. You lose Cam Skattebo for the Giants. You've lost Malik Neighbors. They don't really have anything else going on. Like Jackson Dart, Cam Skattebo, they were great for Aura. They were great for TikTok. They were great for your social media. That's about all they were good for. They don't have much else. Thought Brian Dabble's job is still probably going to be saved because of what Jackson Dart brings, what Cam Skattebo can bring when he's going to come back, what Malik Neighbors can bring when he comes back, what can happen if they actually get some good wide receivers and maybe a half decent offensive line there for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I would be
The
focusing on
defense
the
is
offensive line in the offseason for them.
the defense is actually very, very good for the Giants. One thing that they have been building on, a couple pieces that they definitely need to keep around. Maybe not Kayvon Thibodeau, maybe Kayvon Thibodeau. They've talked about trading him before the trade deadline. We'll see what happens there. But that's kind of where the excitement ends. And for the 49ers, they're not a very good team. They've been injured. Brandon Ayuk has yet to play this season. You're in and out of the lineup with your quarterback you just paid a bunch of money to Mac Jones, who's been playing on par, if not a little bit better than the franchise quarterback you just paid. Christian McCaffrey is out there running his tail off, catching everything that he possibly can. At the end of the day, neither of these teams are as exciting as we want them to be. And it will be a game to watch because it's two bad teams, so they're going to have a good game. Very much like the Steelers and the Jets at the beginning of the season.
Well,
Very much like the Jets and the Bengals.
I think a
Exciting game,
Giants
two bad teams.
offense with the lack of weapons might run a little bit better employing Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary in some sort of um, like split responsibilities in the backfield. Um, Devin Singletary is still serviceable, kind of over the hill, but being able to let Tyrone Tracy do a lot of the work comes in not necessarily as a change of pace,
Good
but just
back
like a
too.
different style.
He is a good back. We saw him put up 1,000 yards his rookie season. Like he's a good back. Cam Skattebo was just a little bit better.
Well, like I said, I think the offense might run a little bit better employing them um, in dual duties. But Jackson Dart doesn't really have anybody to throw the ball to. Theo Johnson is kind of projected um, fairly high for tight ends this week. He's a popular waiver wire ad. Uh, outside of outside of him, Jackson Dart doesn't have very many good options to throw the ball to. So I expect a healthy dose of Tracy and Singletary. And no Fred Warner on that 49ers defense. Like if they get the run game established, the 49ers are going to struggle.
Absolutely.
Well, my game of the week, objectively the best game on the schedule this week. Broncos Texans. Two
Good
really
defensive
good
game.
defenses. CJ Stroud is starting to figure it out, even with that porous offensive line. Um,
Don't do
Woody
that. You're a CJ Stroud hater.
Yeah, but he's played pretty well the last couple of weeks. Like he's turned it around from the beginning of the season. And I think you, as well as most other people watching the Texans play football, it really wasn't a him problem. I'm mad at him because of the fantasy production, and I may have exaggerated some criticisms
I was gonna say we need to run
on
back the
him.
film on that one.
But yeah, dude, the he's I guess he's learning to deal with it because I don't think the the offensive line play has really improved. But CJ Stroud is still making good throws.
I mean, it's not like the defensive competition they've had over the last couple of weeks was very good.
I know, and I mean this Broncos Texans game really should be a defensive struggle. And when we're watching good defenses play, like I'm all for it.
He
I
had
don't need 40 points for each team for me to enjoy a football game. Like I want to see.
he was quarterback one against Baltimore, had a bye, quarterback 15 against Seattle, quarterback 11 against San Francisco.
It's drastically better than the first few weeks of the season.
That is fair.
So, and Bo Nix at the same time hasn't seen a Texans defense. So we like offenses might struggle, but I'm in this game for the defensive play. The two of the best defenses in the NFL.
A lot of interceptions, maybe a couple fumbles. There's going to be a lot of three and outs this week. It is going to, if you like defense, if you're an SEC fan who wants to watch Alabama, Georgia 6-3 every single week, hey, this one's for you. That's what it's going to be.
6-3, huh?
Tybo hates college football because they're not as good, except we're going to get the same exact thing here with this week, Broncos Texans. It's going to be not a lot of offense, whole lot of defense,
That's top-notch football,
bad,
baby.
bad play. Bad play is what we're going to see on the offensive side.
Bad play
From
from
the
good defenses.
offensive
What the
side,
hell are you talking about?
from the offensive side, we're going to see a lot of bad play.
Yeah, I think the Broncos run game kind of has the edge here in terms of talent. So I'm probably gonna pick the Broncos, but I don't know.
Hey, don't
CJ
forget,
Stroud's on my fantasy team.
Patrick Surtain
I need him to
is
play well.
out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So that's a big loss for the Broncos. They're still a very good
They
defense, but that's a huge loss.
they still played pretty well against the Cowboys, who I think a lot
Yes,
of people would say objectively have a better offense than the Texans.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Sean did give it. He's not here. He will be back next week. We'll get him back. Guy doesn't understand how technology works. He's had like 15 notifications to update his laptop, and then decided to do it 3 seconds before we were going to start the show. Uh,
putting him on blast.
yeah, he hasn't shown up. Wanted to restart his laptop at the
Best
impromptu
best
time.
of best ability is availability, Sean.
He's George Kittle of this show for sure. got his
We're gonna
internet
call
cut,
him Greg.
got his internet cut. He figured it out, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
Figured out.
But he decided to pick Bears Bengals. Bengals are 3-point dogs at home for his game of the week. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. This would have been a very good game to watch if we were to pick it up because these two offenses are going to sling it out. Bears defense started off the season very, very well. One of the top five, top 10 defenses in the league, even though the offense didn't kind of replicate that same way, and they kind of gave it up against the Vikings there at the beginning of the season. But they've worked their way down a little bit. The Bears defense, while the offense has started to pick it up. Caleb Williams has looked pretty good. Still looks a little green out there at times, but he's gotten some chemistry going with Roma Dunze. DeAndre Swift as well has been a bigger piece in the passing game more than in the run game. I think that's what Ben Johnson likes to do when he calls his plays. And with Joe Flacco at the helm for the Bengals, their offense has been revitalized. Jamar Chase has looked really good. T. Higgins is out there getting some production. The most important factor, I would say, on the Bengals offense having some versatility is Chase Brown is no longer a pedestrian at the running back position. Even taking the fantasy counters out of that, he's looked a lot better for your fantasy teams. But realistically, that adds some versatility to their offense, so they're not just
But
one
I think
dimensional.
that has a lot to do with some sort of attitude adjustment that offensive line went through
Sure, sure.
because like he's not getting anywhere if they're not putting in the effort, and we've seen a clear difference. I guess maybe since Flacco took over. I don't know.
I was
Maybe
going to
it's his
go.
leadership. Like
It's been since
I don't know.
Flacco.
Yeah,
And I don't think it has anything to do with leadership. As much as I would agree with you that the offensive line is playing a little bit better, I think everything actually has to do with Joe Flacco. Him being out there and being a veteran of the game, knowing that the ball needs to be out of his hands in a certain amount of time. They have to scheme the game differently. When you watch Jake Browning in at quarterback for the Bengals, he holds on to the ball too long. He takes too many steps backwards. He's not working up in the pocket. He wasn't moving to the outside. And the game script also did not necessarily favor the type of way that they needed to play to have that versatile style. And being behind in games also didn't allow for the running game to be utilized. Putting Joe Flacco back there allowed the scheme to be a little bit better, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and keep the defense on their toes so that they could actually run the ball more efficiently and effectively. And I think everything that offensive line hasn't changed. I think everything has to be schemed up to or thrown up to Joe Flacco has changed around at least the Bengals offense while their defense is still terrible.
yeah. I was about to say I foresee this game going pretty similarly to the Jets game.
Yes.
Bengals get up and the Bears claw their way back in it because the Bengals can't stop anything on defense.
I
Um,
don't even know if the Bears are going to have to crawl back. I think it's just going to be an offensive battle. This is the one to watch for the week. If you like offense, this is going to be it.
well, Joe Flacco is questionable. He's dealing with a shoulder injury, so if he's
He'll be
out,
fine.
this game will not be a game of the week or a game to watch. It will be a
That's
complete
true.
and utter domination by the Bears. Um, but as long as Joe Flacco can throw that ball to Jamar Chase, the Bengals will score points.
That gets us to our last game of the week here. All three of them are in the noon hour. The noon hour has some pretty good. I would say that's going to be some pretty good red zone watching. If you're a red zone fan out there, I think we're going to get a lot of red zone
Well,
because
our game to watch and most of our games of the week are the smaller spreads. There's two like 13 or 14 point spreads, and there's a few 7 and 8 point spreads out there. So there's some disparity in the matchups for sure this week.
anything is better than last week when we're talking about red zone because last week only one game was decided by less than uh, uh, two scores.
Right.
So I think we've got some ability here to have a little bit better red zone watching. But in our final game of the week, at a 5.5 spread, I think this is a little too much. Falcons versus Pats. This one's in New England as well. The Falcons have had two
I would
porous
say it's not
weeks.
enough. It's in New England, and the Falcons have just put up two duds of a game.
They did. One in which Michael Penix got hurt, and the other one in which Kirk Cousins, the thief, was a starter in. Sounds like Michael Penix is going to be back this week.
They've
That means
they've also had bad games with Penix at the helm. Like
they have
it's kind of a crapshoot with the Falcons, dude.
they bounce back and forth so much, but Michael Penix is going to be back. I think this is going to be a really good bounce back week for them. Expect Bijan to have a hell of a week. Expect last week, don't forget that who else was out? Drake London was also out. So maybe that bad week was due
And
to
Mooney saw one catch.
yeah. So like you've got a bad quarterback in, you've got no receiving weapons. A lot of bad things are going on out there. I truly think this is a bounce back week for the Falcons, and the Pats have been riding high. I mean, hey, Drake May is a lot of people are saying could be the odds-on favorite for MVP over Pat, over Baker, over Josh Allen, over some of the running backs that are out there like James Cook and so on and so forth. They're saying Drake May should be the leader or the odds-on favorite for an MVP. I don't think that's true. The Falcons defense is one of the best passing defenses in the league, surprisingly. So expect a little more pushback from the Falcons this week. Expect Drake May to not
Well,
play up to
I'm
what he's been doing so far as well.
even if the Falcons offense doesn't play better than they have, it's going to be a test for Drake May specifically. It would be kind of a good litmus test to see if he really should be in that conversation. But if the Falcons offense isn't like 90% Bijan Robinson and he's got like 150 yards, I don't see the Falcons competing much in New England.
I'm not a big fan of what's happening defensively with the Patriots. At least this season, we know Mike Vrabel is a very good coach. He's a very good defensive coach. Um, I just don't what they are this year. I'm not. They've put up a couple good games. They've had some good schemes. They did beat the Bills. I don't think the Bills are really that good. We'll talk about them here in a minute. Um, they'll probably win the division as they should, or at least make it competitive there towards the end. With where I view the Bills as being as a team, this one's just going to be a weird one for the Patriots. If you're a Patriots fan, if you think they're very good, it's going to be a weird one. And Falcons, you never know what you're going to get. But
Well,
I
and
think this week we're going to
while
get
the
a good one.
Falcons do have a good defense, like I said, this being a litmus test for Drake May, like
Absolutely.
if they struggle against the Falcons defense, then I'm kind of back to the Patriots are who I kind of thought they were coming into this. Like fun quarterback, but not enough to even win a playoff game, dude. Like the team surrounding Drake May is just not impressive.
I'm not happy with their running back room, and maybe that's because they won't. They've got Ramondre Stevenson there, who okay back, does all right. Like they need to be playing Travion Henderson more. You've got Diggs on his last leg. He's played pretty well this season. That's really all they have. I don't care about Kayshon Boutte or whoever else they have on that team. Don't really like the receiver room is not very good. Defensively, they're very mediocre. They got some work to do this offseason. They're fun, but very good litmus test to see what Drake May can
Yeah, and like I I don't necessarily agree with all the hype he has.
do. Yes,
I'm sure the Patriots will stick with him and consider him their franchise quarterback,
as
but
they should.
Drake May kind of separating himself from the rest of his draft class, I don't think is that impressive.
I mean, his draft class was pretty poor. The way those
That's
guys
what
are
I'm saying.
playing, like it's not very good at this current point in time. Yeah, it's not. There needs to be some separation if he's going to be that guy, and hasn't been at the moment.
But
I, I
I don't think he'll stay top five in passing yards the rest of the season.
no, absolutely not. I don't know why he's odds-on favorite to win the MVP. We'll see it as it
It's a
gets towards the end of the
breath of
season.
fresh air for, and they don't deserve it, because they had Tom Brady, but it's a breath of fresh air for Patriots fans with how well he's been playing. But call it a string of luck. I don't know if it's sustainable with that roster.
I think he's been playing very well. I don't know if it's necessarily luck. They've coached him up pretty well too. A couple of those games you could chalk up to luck, or just that the teams they were playing weren't that good.
Fair.
Because one of the teams that I'm sitting here saying ain't that good, they're playing this week. Patriots got a big win against the Bills. They're 2.5 point dogs at home this week to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Embarrassing.
It's not good. How are you two? Hey, everybody says the Chiefs ain't that good. The Chiefs we're writing them off. They're not that good. Now where are we at?
Not
They're
anybody anymore.
they're a five. They're a 5-3 team that most people have at the top of their power rankings or near the top, 1-2 with the Colts. Yeah, the Chiefs are back. 2.5 point favorites away. It's crazy talking. I love it
I like Mahomes
because
as a road dog, though. I would have, I would
oh,
have, I would
I
have liked
prefer
for
him as
for
a road
Vegas
dog.
to lean a little bit further towards the Bills, but oh
You never
well.
know. You never know what's going to change. It could be a road dog when the lines change throughout the week, as they tend to do. But the Chiefs are getting some much needed help on the defensive side. Former Chief, now former current Chief, and former Cincinnati Bengal Mike Pennell is back home with the Chiefs. Love to have him here, especially after Omar Norman Lott goes down with an injury. A guy who knows Steve Spagnuolo's system, plays very, very well right next to Chris Jones. I would very much. I don't know if he'll be a starter. Not that that really matters on the defensive side. He needs to have more snaps than any other interior defensive lineman other than Chris Jones.
Um, a guy I saw on I think he started. A guy I saw on the field a lot Monday night. Number 99. I'm
Tillery,
trying to figure number 99. I'm trying to figure out his name.
I believe that's not Tillery. I can't.
Yeah, it is. Jerry
Is it
Tillery.
Tillery?
You're right.
Jerry Tillery. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I believe he started, but he was on the field a lot Monday night.
He's pretty good. Derek Nottie, really bad.
I didn't see any glaring issues out of Derek Nottie, to be honest.
He also didn't play that much.
He came in a lot for
He
Tillery.
he he, he came in.
I was
They
specifically
split their
watching the D
snaps.
line every time the defense was out there.
They did look much better against the Commanders than many thought they would, especially after losing Omar Norman Lott and not having very much depth. But I'm not too concerned, especially now that Mike Pennell is back. He's a very good run stopper. He fills up gaps really well, and that's something that we need going against the Bills. I was talking about it a little bit earlier, but Josh Allen's bad games this season have come when James Cook is not having a good game. There's only been 2 games where that's happened. James Cook has had under 100 yards, and Josh Allen has followed suit. They've been their losses, one to the Patriots, the other I forget. But you look outside those 2 games, and James Cook has 150 plus yards. A couple of games where he's had like 230 yards total between receiving and rushing, and multiple touchdowns. That's their biggest weapon. That honestly, yeah, Josh Allen, he's all this, all that. The Bills fans want to say whatever. James Cook has been your MVP this season so far, and it's without a question. And
And I
there's
honestly think it's gonna be tough for us to stop James Cook because like recent history shows you James Cook will find room against us. The playoff game,
absolutely,
James Cook was working, and they kind of abandoned the run game later on in the game. But like if and I agree with you, the key to winning this game for our defense is stopping James Cook. So I think Spags, being the coordinator that he is going to make that a point. I will say the first quarter, maybe first half of that Commanders game, they were finding some room against our defense. But I also think that was just like the scheme that Mariota was running. couple read options, a keep here and
Absolutely.
there. Um, Bill Merritt was finding a little bit of room early on, but once the Commanders got down, and I believe once Spags made some adjustments to that play style, the defense got better later on in that game. I just hope it kind of, if we do struggle against James Cook, I hope the same uh, timeline occurs where Spags makes some adjustments and we have a better defense later on in that game. Because if the Bills take the blueprint from the playoff game or the example of the playoff game, I feel like their strategy will be to keep feeding James Cook. They lost that game when they stopped running the ball, and James Cook
Absolutely.
was kind of eating on us.
And
So,
I think that's where we can force the pressure here, right? So what I mean by that is the Bills defense is putrid. It's not good. Even before the issue that happened this week with losing defensive tackle Ed Oliver for the rest of the season with a torn bicep or torn pec, one of the two. He's out for the season. So their D line just now got in rough shape. But before that, they allowed the Ravens to score 40 points. They let the Patriots run the score up on
right,
them. They're not a
23.
good defense. For the Patriots, that's running up the score. Um, their defense isn't good. Like I'm not scared of it. So while the key for the defense is to stop James Cook, and I have here like no offensive turnovers. Really, that hasn't been an issue outside of the two turnovers in the Commanders game and some fluky ones that just happened at inopportune times where the offense was playing poor at the beginning of the season. With Rashee Rice back, I don't think that's an issue. The key for the offense is going to be getting out in front early. So defense
Right.
can't let James Cook cook. Offense
Put
get
them
out
put
early.
them in the position where they have to throw the ball.
Exactly. Where James
Get
Cook
up a
is
couple
now an
scores
afterthought.
and mitigate the emphasis on the run game.
Honestly, I'm not even worried
We
about
can't
getting
have a
up
slow
multiple
start.
scores.
On the road,
Yes.
on the road against the Bills, you got to start hot on offense, and then the game script will allow the defense to smother them.
Our defense will be able to make an early stop. Whether that's drive one or drive two, we usually do. And don't break. Allow a field goal. Don't allow a touchdown. Our defense is very good at those two things. At least get an early stop sometime in the game before making halftime adjustments, like you were just talking about, and bending, not breaking. Allow three, don't allow six. Uh, do that, and the James Cook issue goes away because the offense will be able to fire on all cylinders. This Bills defense, will allow us to walk all over them. I think they will put up a fight here and there. They'll get a couple of stops, but realistically, there's nothing that scares me about this team. Like I said, allowed 40 to the Raiders, almost lost to the Dolphins, lost to the Patriots. They realistically got smacked up by the Falcons. I don't care what that final score says. They got put in the dirt,
Well, the other thing you
and
got
they
to
have the
watch
weakest
out.
schedule.
The other thing you got to watch out specifically with James Cook. You already said it earlier that he's had games this season where he's like approaching or eclipsed the 200 scrimmage yard mark. Like just stopping the run does not mean James Cook is out of this game. There were at least four times on in that Monday night game against the Commanders where the Chiefs did not cover somebody. It was uh, I know a couple of times it was specifically Drew Tranquil's fault, and he usually doesn't make those mistakes. But I think there was other things you had to account for playing against Mariota. But I can remember four specific times where a tight end or a running back, Jeremy McNichols had a
Yes.
couple of big catches, and one of them he was not. There was nobody within 10 yards of him. There's certain situations where our defense kind of has a lapse in their coverage, and they just don't. They decide not to cover somebody, or they forget to cover somebody. We cannot let that happen with James Cook because you give James Cook a full head of steam in the open field, and he's going to do a little bit more damage than Jeremy McNichols. So just stopping the run does not take James Cook out of the game. we have to make sure we don't have those lapses in coverage and make sure we have a body on everybody else that they're putting on a route.
That is the only way I see us realistically losing this game is it's a shootout and James Cook is having a day, which means that Josh Allen is having a day. Um, we're so good in coverage. I'm not really worried about Khalil Shakir. He's a yard after catch merchant. Keon Coleman has done nothing. I'm not real worried about tight ends. Shut down Khalil Shakir at the line of scrimmage, which I mean our guys are the best at that. That's McDuffie and
I was about to say McDuffie's
Jalen
probably going to be
Watson.
on him in the slot most of the time. I'm
Yes,
not. I'm
not worried about it.
there's nothing that Keon Coleman has put on tape that makes me think he's like a good route runner, let alone like a good receiver. So him on the outside is super pedestrian, and I think McDuffie's going to be on Shakir in the slot for a lot of this game.
The only worry I have here, and the only way I can see us losing it, it turns into a shootout, and James Cook is having a fantastic day. Their defense does not worry me. There's nobody over there that I think that is good enough, and especially now that you're losing Ed Oliver, Pat's going to have plenty of time in the pocket. Going to have plenty of time in the pocket. So I got real worried with Jalen Moore in the first quarter, maybe even the first half of last week's game against the Commanders. His feet looked sluggish. He looked to be hopping a little bit too much in his pass sets. That got corrected pretty quickly. Everybody on the front five was able to do their job and really get some things corrected fast and efficiently. I don't see that being an issue whatsoever this week. You could say our run game may struggle now that Pacheco's out. He'll be out for at least a couple of weeks with a low MCL sprain, but Kareem Hunt has been. A lot of people are saying, Pacheco's had a good couple of weeks. Arguably, I would say that Kareem Hunt has been our best running back. We've got Elijah Mitchell, who will be a third, come in at the third string, because guess what? We still have Brashard Smith, who's going to be the backup behind Kareem Hunt. And he's been great out of running the slot, being out wide, being in the backfield, taking a handoff or catching a pass. Like he's been very, very good for a rookie and has been able to block very well for a rookie running back. So
He was
offensively, I think it's all engines go, all steam forward. Everybody's going to eat this game.
so we're for sure that Pacheco's out for a couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's
So
not.
I
He's
mean,
not been listed as out. He's not
just by
fully been ruled out. I would lean towards yes. He is not playing in this game.
okay. Well, if there's no Pacheco, we will see more Brashard Smith just because of depth chart reasons. But he was stifled every time he touched the ball against the Commanders. Um, you can chalk that up to maybe not being able to establish a rhythm. But Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, um, I won't say had their way with, but the per carry average was over 4 between those two running backs, and Brashard Smith would have brought that average down because he did not find any success against the Commanders. Um, but you need to quit hating on Pacheco. 10-yard runs are like perfectly fine, especially in our offense.
I was just saying that Kareem has arguably been the better of the two this year. That's not. It's not like I'm
I
taking
mean,
into
he has
account
more
the
like
full
he leads
season.
the league in touchdowns, but that's because he's kind of like the default goal line back. Pacheco has put in a lot of work last few weeks, and like I'm thrilled with his production.
He's been
Considering
he's
like
been much better the last few weeks. Yes.
and very in tune with the running game while I'm watching. Like in my eyes are on Lyman, but it's hard to miss the running back when they run running plays. Like Pacheco's vision didn't really look like it was weak or not up to par. Like he was finding the holes and he was 4.5 4, 5, 4 a lot of the times on first down, and later on in the game, those turned into 7, 8, 9 yard carries. So
He
Pacheco's
finished
doing
with
everything right, in my opinion.
over 5 yards a carry. He's played pretty well.
Yeah.
We'll especially like I said over the last couple of weeks, he has looked much better.
But I'm glad I
Um,
nabbed Kareem Hunt in Dynasty League because if Pacheco doesn't play, it's gonna be Kareem Hunt.
I mean, and this is just one thing to look at as well as I was trying to get Pacheco's injury status so far. With Ed Oliver, the Bills defense ranked 27th in allowing yards to running backs and 31st excuse me, 27th overall fantasy points. That goes into scoring as well, but 31st in yards per carried allowed. So they're second worst in the run game. It doesn't matter if it's Isaiah Pacheco with a slightly sprained MCL, if it's going to be Kareem Hunt, if it's going to be Brashard Smith, maybe even Elijah Mitchell. We'll see what happens on the injury designation. We're going to have our way offensively with these guys, and it's not going to be fun if you're a Bills fan. The only way this game is even remotely close is if we cannot stop James, or if we cannot get out to an early lead that forces them to stop utilizing James. The only way that the Bills have a shot in this game is if James Cook has a good game.
I would be inclined to agree with you.
Chiefs away at Bills. Bills home 2-point favorites. Sean, you funny guy. Hope you're seeing this. If you look at our sheet here that I track everything on there, Tybo, Sean has picked all of his games for us, so I do have those. However, he has chosen the Chiefs for me or the Bills for me.
I mean, no brainer, right? Bills fan, resident Bills fan.
No, number one Bills fan on a Chiefs podcast. Let's see. You won last week. What do you want to go?
I'll keep picking second.
You picking second? All right. For
Mhm.
Chiefs Bills, I'm taking the Chiefs. Sean is. Oh yeah. Yep. Call it, Tybo.
No.
All right. Well, then that leaves us
Broncos
to.
country. Let's ride. Is that what
That
you're
leaves
talking about?
us to. Yes. We're picking the rest of the games we got here. Coming up first, it's Thursday Night Football. That is the time in which you're hearing this full show. So, Ravens are heading to Miami, where the Dolphins at home are 7.5-point favorites. It is confirmed that Lamar Jackson will be back this week. We thought
Good
he was
call
coming
last
back.
week.
We thought he was coming back last week. It turns out that wasn't true. He is confirmed to be coming back this week, playing against the Dolphins. Their defense is still very poor. But the Dolphins to win by 7.5, even as well as they have been playing, is just too far of a stretch. I think they pull it out because the Ravens defense is
The
putrid.
Dolphins are favored by 7?
I no, I'm looking at this wrong. I am looking at this wrong. I
Damn.
apologize. Ravens are dogs by 7.5 at home. I looked at that and totally incorrect. The Dolphins at home 7.5-point dogs. That changes the script on me. The Ravens defense is way too bad for that. Dolphins cover.
Yeah, I don't see the Dolphins repeating what they did last week. I know the Ravens have a suspect defense. They played all
32nd in the
right
league.
last week. I will take the Ravens here.
A win by 8. Holy smokes! You and Sean are both taking the Ravens. That is wild pick. We get to another big spread here. It's our last one here for a little bit. We've got Sunday in the noon hour. The Panthers are playing the Packers. Packers at home are 13.5-point favorites. I do believe Bryce Young is back. I just want to confirm this really quick because I thought we had an overseas game that may have gotten missed here. Let me check really quick. No, we don't have an overseas game.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think
next
so.
week. Berlin game is next week with on the 9th. That's what it is. On the 9th, week 10, we have the Berlin game. And then the week after, we've got the Madrid game. So Panthers, Packers in Green Bay. Packers 13.5 point favorites. I believe Bryce Young is back. I'll take the Panthers to cover. That's 13.5 points. I like that. It's not Toyota-thon yet.
I mean, Packers are really wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Don't really know what team's going to show up. Uh, boy,
Don't forget, Sean did have 3 wins last week. He went 3-10, and he's had a pretty bad, rough couple of weeks. So you may not want to side with him, but you also
who
don't
did
know
he
what side
pick?
he's on.
You're not telling
I,
me?
I asked if you wanted to go second or what you wanted to go. You said second. Did that technically mean third because Sean's not here?
I mean, however you want to play it, I really don't give a shit. Uh,
Sean took the Packers.
uh, it's tough, dude. I mean, yeah, I'll take the Panthers.
Next up at noon, it is our game to watch here. So be on the lookout for this. We've got the 49ers heading to MetLife Stadium taking on the Giants, who are 2.5 point dogs at home. It's a bounce back game for the Niners. Had a bad week last week.
I just think they're coached better. McCaffrey's probably going to carry a heavy load this week. Give me the Niners.
Sean also took the Niners. So that's across the board. So we'll get to we've got back to back to back games of the week here to pay attention to. So our first one is the Denver Broncos. They're heading to Houston, where CJ Stroud and the Texans are 1.5 point favorites at home. Texans defense is really good. CJ Stroud has been playing better. No Nico Collins this week. If I remember correctly, he is out due to injury. So that means give me the Broncos.
I'm picking the Texans just because I fucking hate Bo Nix and the Broncos.
I do too. Sean did take the Broncos in that one. Our next game of the week here in the noon hour, it's the Bears. They're heading to Cincinnati, taking on the Bengals. Joe Flacco's going to play. We don't know. He's got an injury designation. We'll have to see a little bit later, but we'll call it here anyways. I'm going to act like he's playing. So they're 3 point dogs at home. I think Vegas is expecting them, Joe Flacco, to play as well. Even with that said, lost to the Jets last week. I think that continues because their defense is so bad. Give me the Bears.
I didn't want to pick with you here, but I was set on picking the Bears as well.
That is Bears across the board. Our last game of the week here in the noon hour. The Falcons, they're heading to New England, taking on the Patriots. Drake May is a 5.5 point favorite at home. They've had some really good wins. The Falcons, if Michael Penix plays, is the big question. I'm going to side with the Falcons here.
I'll go ahead and take Pats.
Sean also took the Pots. Now we've got a few more games here left at noon. Our first one outside of our games of the week, it is the Colts. They're heading to Pittsburgh, taking on the Steelers, who are 3 point dogs at home. I don't think this one is close. Aaron Rodgers is bad. The Steelers are bad. Probably, I mean, hey, everybody's still saying they're going to go 9-8. He's not going to have a losing season. I think you're wrong. I called it at the beginning of the season. This is the first year that Mike Tomlin does not have his 500 or above record. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it done against the Packers, where he has every extra motivation to go out and show out, I don't think he does it against the Colts. Don't care that they're at home. I'll take the Colts.
That makes it 4 games in a row that we are picking the same team. So let's get to the next one. Vikings heading to Detroit, taking on the Lions, who are 8.5 point favorites at home. I don't know if you can pick against the Lions, and I don't know why you would pick the Vikings at this point.
Yeah, got a league where I'm got a fantasy league where I'm rotating defenses a lot. It's a short bench, and I just went through a few buys. So I picked up the Lions defense to go against the Vikings. I think it's
Smart move.
pretty much a no-brainer. I'll go Lions.
I believe JJ McCarthy will be back this week, but that doesn't really change much. We'll get to another big spread here, another 8.5, but the Chargers are headed to Tennessee taking on the Titans, where the Titans are home dogs by 8.5 points.
8.5 home dogs, man. That's so disrespectful.
I mean, maybe they should play a little bit better if they didn't want to be disrespected like that.
They
Really,
should.
Vegas could go 14 points here, and I'd still be comfortable enough to take the Chargers.
Yeah, maybe if the Titans had like a pass rush, you could argue that the Titans could cover here, but what do they have that should really test the Chargers? Fucking nothing. Give me the
A
Chargers.
quarterback throwing the ball the wrong way.
It'll happen for the third time this season in this game.
We'll get to a game that actually has a 14-point spread here. Didn't even try to like tag that one up. That just happened. The Saints are heading into SoFi taking on the Rams, who are 14-point favorites. Puka Nakua is back. They're coming off of a bye.
They are they sticking with the
Saints,
switch at quarterback? Is it Tyler Shug?
Chuck, Chuck, get it
I mean,
right.
there's no C in his name, so I'm gonna keep pronouncing it Shug.
Can we just pronounce it suck? Because that guy sucks real bad.
So are the
Let's take a
Saints.
look. I wanted to see. I do actually. I'm interested in seeing if it's going to be Tyler Suck or not. Um,
The
I'm not going to
Spencer
get it there.
Rattler like mid hype died down real quick.
Oh,
Remember I said he was playing better than Bo Nix?
you did say he was playing. At one point he was playing better than Bo Nix. Why can I not find? Nobody has. There he is. Tyler Suck. Uh, he's going to start the rest of the season. By the way,
So they are sticking with it.
they are sticking with it.
New. I mean, he did play half the game last week, but quarterback first start of the season, sometimes they pull some magic out of their ass. Don't think it happens
Sticking
against the Rams.
it.
Uh, does Stafford lead the league in touchdowns or something like that?
It's pretty close. Pretty close.
I'll take the Rams.
That was our first 305 game. We'll get to our next 305 game. It is the Jaguars who will head into Vegas, take on the Raiders, who are 3-point dogs at home. As much as we hate Trevor Lawrence on this show and think he's a bad quarterback, I don't think any of us are going to pick away from him. We've picked a lot of the same games here. I'm taking the Jags.
Yeah, I'll
Ride,
take the
ride with
Jags.
your boy Gino. Ride with your boy Gino. You hate Trevor Lawrence.
My
Ride with
boy
Gino
Gino. Gino's been playing abysmally. Like how have they not made a switch at quarterback?
because it's not his fault.
Bullshit. Gino has made some abysmal throws this
He
season.
has, and that offensive line ain't doing him any justice.
Yeah,
He's under the gun every single time.
Joe Flacco can figure it out behind the Bengals offensive line.
It's a good point.
He's also not throwing to
He's
Jamar
also, I was gonna
Chase
say, he's got
and T.
Jamar Chase,
Higgins.
T. Higgins. Like, that's rough.
Where you at,
Uh
Jacoby?
not open.
Please
That's for
catch it.
sure. Our next game is the 325 game, Chiefs versus Bills. We've already chosen that one. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to the Chiefs segment of the show here. So we'll get to our Sunday night football game. It is the Seattle Seahawks. They're heading to the DMV, taking on the Commies, who are 3-point dogs at home. I don't know what you've seen or what Sean has seen to make him take the Commies here. I'm riding with the Seahawks. This is the first game we're going to have a difference in about 6 games here.
I'm sure Jaden Daniels coming back is gonna bring a little bit of fire to the commies, but when you're going up against JSN and you can't cover anybody, I the Seahawks offense is just gonna have a field day. So
A lot of touchdowns.
Seahawks, I guess.
Hey, maybe Kenneth Walker gets himself in the end zone this time.
Fingers crossed. It's a
Monday
detriment to
night
my
fo-
fantasy season.
Monday Night Football is coming up, and it seems like Kyler Murray will play. The Cardinals are heading into AT&T Stadium, taking on the Cowboys, who are 2.5-point favorites at home. Cardinals defense has actually been pretty good this season. Their offense has been the problem. Kyler Murray has been an issue this season, even before the injury. And now you've had the chemistry that was being built with Marvin Harrison Jr. has gone out of the way. Jacoby Brissett has not played really any better than Kyler Murray. I think they have an offensive line problem. You've lost your number one running back. Amari DiMarcado has come in and done very poorly. They really don't have a run game. They don't have much left
DeMarcato's
to
not even playing, dude.
well, I know he came in.
Bam Knight's been leaning there.
He was
Their
their next
backfield.
guy up. He hasn't played well. Now you got Bam Knight and Michael Carter. So you've got no running back. You've got nobody to throw the ball. The offensive line is bad. I feel really bad for that defense. And they're going to get torched by the Cowboys. I don't know why the line is only 2.5. Dak Prescott had a bad week last week. So did Pickens. So did Lamb. They're going to go off for about 50 this week.
With Kyler coming back, if this spread was a little bit bigger, I might be inclined to give it to the Cardinals, but the Cowboys should be able to win this by 3, no problem. So Cowboys.
No, we got a lot of the same picks this week. It only happens every so often. But the league is slightly predictable this season, slightly more than it has been in the past couple of years.
Even with the Giants beating the Eagles.
Hey, everybody gets one, and they were fun at the time. Now they don't have the scat line back, so it's not as fun for the Giants.
It's better football.
I like when the Giants are bad, but the scat man's gone.
I'm the
That's sad.
scat man.
We will be back. We'll be back next week, man. We'll be back next week to recap everything that happened in Week 9. We're at the midway point of the season, a little more than for the regular season. So the teams are definitely starting to separate themselves, and the Chiefs are jumping back on top of the leaderboard where they should be. So join us next week. We'll recap everything that happened. Until next time, peace.
Go Chiefs.